If you're into glossy, dewy, healthy looking skin without it looking oily, and you're after something that's simple to do, it's great for every day, maybe a barbecue, maybe you just want something really fresh, then this look is something I think you're going to love. It's one of my favorite go-tos, and it doesn't involve any foundation. It's just illuminizers essentially. So the first thing that I've done, of course, has prepped my skin. I've cleansed it, I've prepped it, and I've also put a little bit of a facial oil on, simply because my skin is a little bit more dehydrated, and it just helps add to that glossy, dewy look to the skin. So it's all about health and vitality, and to get started, I'm going to be using one of the darker liquid illuminizers in the Adorn range, and in fact I'm going to use two different colors. So I only put a little bit on my stippling brush at any one time because this product does dry pretty quickly. So I'm just going to put the lighter of the two on my cheekbones first, just because anything that's lighter will always make those areas stand out more. Now I'm just avoiding putting the illuminizer under my eyes because obviously as we get more mature and we age, if you've got the fine lines or the crow's feet, the laugh lines, the living lines, whatever you want to refer them to, you just don't want something that's got that little bit of dewiness or that sparkle to get caught in the creases. So just put it anywhere that you want to get that dewy look. This also gives a bit of coverage, as you can see, which is great. And then if you really needed to, you could use a bit of concealer in the areas that need actual coverage. Okay, so I've done that in the 3 points I want to highlight: my cheekbones, the center of my forehead, and then I might even just do a little bit in this part of my chin as well, where it sort of dips as we get a bit older. Okay, and you could also put this one on your neck or your décolletage as well. It looks beautiful. It's super pretty. I'll just show you this. So you can see it's got a little bit of coverage in it, which is great. And it's just got that really nice dewiness to it. Okay, so this will suit most skin tones, this particular illuminizer. Even the fairest of our skins, it will look really beautiful on. If you've got a darker complexion, you might want to opt with our slightly darker one. Again, this does suit lighter skins as well. But again, I just like to use two different ones. The lighter one, as I said, on my cheeks, and then this darker one underneath here, just to really highlight my cheeks, but to give a really nice glossy finish to the skin. So yeah, you're still going to see some of your imperfections, but that's not what this looks about. This is just about making the skin look healthy above any of the imperfections you're concerned about. And then yes, you can spot treat if you wanted to, like around the nose or under the eyes. That's up to you. And I just put a little bit on the bridge of my nose. I've got quite large pores, so I will put a concealer around that area. I don't want to enhance the pores. And I'm going to put this on my neck as well. So you can see it just gives a little bit of a lift, a little bit of colour. Who knew you could use liquid illuminizer all over? And a little tip, it also looks amazing on your legs as well. Okay, and then this darker one I'm now putting on the outer part of my forehead. And over the temples. You could put a little bit onto your eyelids if you wanted to. Okay, and that's the skin. Nice and dewy. A little bit more on my top lip. So look at that, just without wet. Still got to do a bit of concealing, but really amazing coverage. Now, a little bit of concealer around under my eye area. So I'm just going to put the Peachy Sleep here. And just on the areas where I've got those really dark circles, and I'm going to put a little bit on the outer corners as well, where we are a little bit red. And that also blended up gives the illusion of a less droopy eye. So if you're starting to get a little bit of a droopy eye here, putting the concealer up this way is going to create light reflection upwards, just creating the illusion that your eyes are more lifted and less hooded, less droopy. And I'm just patting this on like I would an eye cream almost, making sure I get right in that corner because that's very dark in there. Now, if you've got puffy under eyes that you're wanting to disguise, then make sure you use a concealer that's the same color as your foundation, because puffy eyes will look worse if you put a light concealer on. Think light things look bigger, so you really want to help tone down that puffiness and the darkness by using a concealer that's the same color as your foundation. For those of us that have more of a flat discoloration, the Peachy Sleep and a lighter concealer is completely fine. It's corrective, and that's what's instantly gotten rid of and toned down those dark circles. Now, if you did have a darker skin tone and you wanted to use the Peachy Sleep, you can do that, but you might just need to put your darker concealer on over the top. So use the Peachy as purely a corrective, and then put your darker concealer over the top of that to tone that down. Now, I'm going to put this also around that redness that I've got around my nose. Again, don't use a concealer that's too light. It must match your foundation or the illuminizer or whatever the base is, your skin, and in particular when you're applying it onto areas that have got large pores like your nose. Now, if you suffer from large pores like I do, grab our Buff and Blend brush. It is the best brush for warming up the product and pushing it deeper into those pores. It's a very, very dense, short brush, and it's super soft, but it really warms up and massages that product deeper into the pores so it doesn't stand out. And I have it around here, whether it's your forehead, wherever it might be. This is the best brush for that. You can also use it for the creams as well. Then what I like to do, I mean, you don't need to do this step, but I just pop a little bit of our tinted eye primer on my eyelids because I just like to get rid of that little bit of discoloration from the veins. So you can see just a little bit of discoloration compared to this side. So I just like to, and you can use brushes. I'm just all about this being a really simple look. Minimal use of tools. I'm using more of my fingers. Okay, so looking really healthy. Yes, you can still see a little bit of, discoloration, a little bit of pigment, but ultimately it looks healthy and really nice and dewy. Okay, so moving on to blush. Again, I'm going to make this a really nice, fresh look. So I'm going with the Loose Spring blush. I love this blush because it suits not only the fairest of skins, but it also acts like a bit of coverage. Because it's quite skin-like. So if you do have a little bit of rosacea, or you have a little bit of veining or some sort of discoloration, this blush, look at that, see how it instantly gave me a bit of coverage as well as just a little bit of blush. So if you're scared of blush, this is the best color for it. It's just so natural, but look at that coverage it's given me. Okay, so let's have a look at this area here. Not that blush is supposed to do that, but the bonus is this one does. And that's why with this look, I can get away with not wearing foundation. I've just gone straight to the liquid illuminizers. So look at that. Okay, a little bit more. And you just add like as much or as little as you want. Just remember with your blush, you can't really get this one wrong because it's so light, but you don't want to bring your blush down too low because it will drag the face down, especially with the darker or the more brighter blushes. And if you've got a more mature face like myself, then you want to go crossways with your blush to give the illusion of a wider, less sunken in face. If you bring your blush down this way, it's going to give that more sunken down appearance. Again, not as noticeable with a color like this, but definitely with your darker ones. Now, with what's left on the brush, I like to just sweep it over my nose, a little bit over the eyes. And it just brings everything together because you don't just have blush. You know, naturally when you flush, it sort of spreads everywhere and it's all very nice and even. So you don't just want to have that appearance of just blush. So I like to just gently, without re-dipping, just put the rest of what's on my brush over the rest of my face. Okay, now you could stop right there, put your mascara on and be done, but a couple of little extra things that you could do to ramp this up is adding in a pop of color. And I'm using the Coral Radiance in the Multi-Sticks Wind Up. And I'm just gonna put that on again with my fingers just here. And you really only need a little bit. The reason I'm using 2 colors is simply because when you want to use a brighter color, putting a more neutral color underneath it makes it look really nice and natural, because it's like it's got this brightness and then it gets lighter and lighter, and it just really emulates rather the natural flushing that the cheeks will get. Now, I had that much on and then I swapped fingers because it was just going to be too much. That's just how pigmented it is. So then you can go back to the finger that you've got the product on if you want a bit more, and use another finger to blend it out. You could use the rest of this on the eyes as a bit of eyeshadow. I often wipe it on my lips, whatever's left. And I tend to do this with a lot of the blush colours. I always just pop it on my lips and then I put a gloss over the top and it looks like I've got this unique coloured lipstick. Okay, so there we go. And then what I'm now going to do is pop on even more luminizer, because we can never have enough. Now the blush brush that I used was the number 2, the really nice big fluffy one. The fluffier the bristles, the less dense the colour's going to be. It's going to be more natural. If you want a more heavier appearance, then you use a brush that maybe has slightly shorter bristles and is more dense, as in there's more of those bristles. That'll deliver more product, more colour to the area, giving more intensity. Okay, so that's how you can kind of gauge what tools to use. Do you want it to be really intense? Pick a shorter, sort of more dense brush. If you want it to be less and more natural, pick a longer, less dense, more fluffy brush. Okay, so now I'm going to use the number 3, which, whoops, ran the wrong way, is in the, also that same 15-piece kit, and I'm using the loose illuminizer. And the reason I'm using a different illuminizer is for a couple of reasons. The Skin Radiance illuminizers is that it gives you that dewy radiance, look, that all over skin glow. Okay, the cream illuminizer does the same thing. You could put that over the face if you wanted to as well, probably more so for those with fairer skins. But the loose illuminizers are what actually highlight more. So if you're wanting to really get the cheekbones to stand out, I'll show you how to make your lips look bigger. If you really want to enhance the bridge of the nose, so think of your liquid products as being more so for that all over radiance, and your loose or your cream, you can pinpoint a little bit more and make them more of a highlighting product. So I'm going to use the cream illuminizer just under my eyebrow. Again, you could use this, actually let's just put it all over. You could use this as a nice all over eyeshadow. It's really pretty actually. All right, so cream illuminizer all over my eyes from lid to brow. I'm gonna pop a little bit of that in the corner to really brighten up my eyes as well. Okay, so that was the cream. And now we're gonna move on to the loose. And one of the areas I really focus on is the temples. So especially if you are older, maybe you've got quite a thin face, we get this sunken in appearance as we get older. So it can be, again, quite aging. So put your illuminizing products in this area. If you've got a lot of crow's feet, you do need to bear in mind that it may make them look more so. So just put a little bit on, and then weigh up what you want. It may enhance them a little bit, but it also will make this area look fatter. So it's about that fine line of correcting one thing, but not over enhancing something else. Okay, so again, I'm going to put a little bit of this above my brows. creating light reflection there gives the illusion that my eyes have a lift, okay? And I'm also going to put some on the bridge of my nose. You can even use an eyeshadow brush to get this more specific or more concentrated, or a finger like I have there, the tip of the nose, again, just avoiding any large pores. And you can also pop this on the top of your Cupid's bow. So watch how big this makes my lips look compared to not. So you're just gently applying it to your lip line. So it's given a natural curl to the lips. And then the next step with the loose is you could also put it on the bottom, and you could also put it in the middle part of your lip. Now what that's gonna do, when you put a gloss or a lipstick over this, it's gonna keep this area lighter and more luminescent, making this area look like you've got more of a pout, hence bigger looking lips. You can also pop this, again, if you're wanting something really highlight in the middle here to open up and awaken those eyes and make them look nice and bright and fresh and the whites of the eyes standing out. You can pop this in the corner. Okay, and then we're done. But if you're wanting to add a little bit of warmth, you could definitely use this color in our face palette using the same brush, or preferably a second brush, because obviously if you're going to use this dark color and then use the illuminizer, it's going to be distorting obviously the pigment, so you probably need one for both. But you could just put a little bit in the corners of your hairline like that, and then that's going to just give you a bit of warmth. So if you're feeling a little bit pasty, you can definitely do that. Okay, now in the event you've put too much on, that's not a problem. You can either grab your kabuki brush, you get your buff and blend, or you could even get your blush brush that you used a moment ago and just blend that in to the hairline. Now if you've got fair hair, just grab your fingers, grey hair, and just cover your hairline so you don't get it in the hairline like that. And see how that's just corrected the colour for me and toned it down a little bit. But see how that's instantly given me some warmth as well, which is great. Okay, now mascara, lash primer, and we're good to go. I'm going to use the lash curlers. I just never not use these every day. So you just grab your lashes, fold up into the crease line here, which is going to really, but gently, pull the lashes at the roots. Look at that. It's worth doing. Yes, it's temporary, but for the day, it makes a big difference. And I like to use mine after my mascara application as well. So, lash primer, again, I never go without this. It's the difference between seeing my eyelashes and not. So the combination of using the lash curler and the lash primer is an absolute must-have for me. I've been caught out too many times where I've had mornings where I thought I can't be bothered, and then I just look at myself and think, oh, I can't see my eyelashes today. Especially if you don't want to do lash extensions, you don't want to put chemicals in your eyes or on your eyes. You just want something that's easy that you can do at home, and it's obviously not as time consuming and costly. Okay, so that's the lash primer. You can put your mascara on straight away or let it dry for a little bit. It's totally up to you. And I'm going to use the waterproof black mascara. And I put it on the top of my lashes as well as the bottom. And notice I'm focusing mainly on the outside of my lashes. Okay, and now I'm going to go to this side. I'll do my inner lashes when I do my second coat. The reason I do that is I'm going on the top of the lashes and then I'm going underneath. So the reason God, don't you love that? Let me show you how you fix that. perfect timing for my tutorial. So the reason I focus on the outer lashes is because that's what's going to give you that beautiful almond eye. You don't want too much mascara on these inner lashes because then you're getting that sort of starfish sort of look, and it can make the eyes look closer set, and it can also make them look smaller. Now, all I would do is grab a cotton tip for this and remove it, and then just pop a little bit of the concealer over the top. So don't worry about if you get that on. You don't need to start again or panic. You just gently roll your cotton tip and you remove that. So let me see, I'll let that dry. That's what I love about the waterproof mascara, is that it just flicks off. Okay, easy. I'll put a little bit of the concealer over the top. But again, if you're using a different mascara, as I said, just use a cotton tip because you don't want to smudge that. If you did that with another mascara, it'll probably just smudge into your makeup. Okay, so the second coat, I've focused everywhere. Now I'm going into these little lashes here. Now I'm going to turn my brush around and I'm going to get some mascara on the tip. And I'm going to start to put this towards my eye like I would a pencil, I suppose, because I don't want to weigh my lashes down by putting more and more and more mascara. That's just going to weigh them down. But I do want them to look longer. So I'm just tickling the outer lashes and the tips of those outer lashes to get the length, but not keep building up the base, which can make those lashes start to weigh down. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do a second coat on this side all over, just a little bit. Then I'm going to turn the wand around and I'm going to do the inner ones just to get a bit on them, and then focus on the tips to get that length but not weigh them down. Then with what's left on the wand, it's up to you. You can put a little bit on the lower lashes. If you don't have much in the way of lashes on the bottom lash line, I wouldn't put mascara on them. I think it just enhances the fact that they are few and far between. It's going to draw attention. You'd be better off using a brow dust or a smudged eyeliner to give some definition and depth to the lashes that you have. And that's the same with your eyelashes on the top. Using an eyeliner will create depth and it will make your lashes look thicker if you just put a little bit in the lash line. It doesn't have to be an eyeliner you see per se, but just one that you rub and tickle. Even if you go down under the lash line here and you get a bit of mascara into the roots, in the pencil into the roots, that's going to give depth and it's going to give more bold looking lashes. Okay, so let this dry for a little bit and then I'm going to again curl my lashes because the mascara is now going to act like a little bit of almost like a gel, I suppose. So I'm just going to do that and then look at that, and then the other side. Now this waterproof mascara does not rip your lashes off to cleanse it off, which is what I love. I can't handle, I do prefer a waterproof mascara. Someone who wears glasses, my eyes can be a little bit watery. If you've got more mature skin, or you've got crepey skin, or you've got hooded eyes or a droopy lid and it's sitting on the lash line, you have to use a waterproof mascara because the warmth of the skin sitting on that lash line is just going to warm it up and it's going to transfer. So you want a waterproof mascara that's not going to be harsh and horrible to get off, which is exactly what this one is, but also stay put. And then we have it. And again, as I said before, you can just come back through using your mascara, the tip of your mascara, like a pencil, just to sort of give you extra where you need it, rather than constantly loading up your eyelashes. So there you have it. Just to recap, I've used 2 different liquid illuminizers to give an all-over radiance to the skin. I've also used, okay, so just to quickly recap, today I've used 2 liquid illuminized shades to give an all-over radiance to my skin. Yes, you'll still see some imperfections, but this is all about having that dewy, healthier looking skin without looking made up. Then I've used a cream concealer under my eyes, which is the Peachy Sleep, and I've used the tinted eyelid primer on the top, as well as the cream illuminizer as an eyeshadow. The loose illuminizer I have used to highlight the bridge of my nose, my cheekbones, my temples, and of course the top and the middle of my lip. And I've used the beautiful spring blush and the coral radiance just for a pop of color, and the combination of the lash primer, the lash curlers, and the waterproof mascara just to give a little bit of a voom to my lashes. And last but not least, I did put the coral radiance on my lips as a bit of a lip color as well.